All right, so here's a quick one for how the labor rate calculator works. This is in response to a post I made on Facebook, and there was some negativity, but that's okay. I understand. Um, I didn't understand it at one time either, but I do now. So I'm giving this away for free. I'm giving it to you because this will help add value in your business. As a metal fabricator, welder, millwright, machinist, any of these businesses, this helps. I mean, this does work into any business, but it's made specifically for you guys, because that's what I care about, and that's what you care about. So we're going to go through this quick. All right, so highest paid technician per hour. So we want to figure out what is the hourly rate, the real true hourly rate that you should be charging for your shop. Okay, so yes, you can adjust this based on the employee, the type of employee you have. You could actually duplicate this tab and have one for a 24 an hour guy, a 32 an hour guy, a $50 an hour guy. But we're going to use 32. If you wanted just one number for across the board and your highest paid guy is 32, we're going to put 32 in here. Then your direct costs, your burden rate, which is what we call it. It's just over and above, which is, it says here, payroll costs is taxes, workman comps, vacation, benefits, or anything else. So that takes us to a direct labor cost of $42.11. All right. So in this sheet, and I'm going to give it to you for free so you can put your own numbers in it, we changed the blue ones only. The green ones, they're locked, but they will show you um, what the real number is. Total annual hours available. So then what we're going to do is we're going to look at 2080 hours, which is your typical what people work in a year in a business. But then we've got all these other things like holidays, sick days, vacations paid. All those things are going to cost you. So these are example numbers, but I mean, so 96 hours, which is 8 days, right? So you can change these to whatever you want. Let's say it's, not 3 days. Let's say it's two, maybe it's one day. So that's going to change your, so vacation, let's say it's only 1 week. That changes your actual hours that are being billed are 1,936. So that brings us to the next one, direct labor cost per available hour, which is, takes us to 45.24. Now, I've done the study of this in a shop that I worked in between all the walking around and communicating and shop breaks and everything, we're talking 6.5 hours out of 8.5 hour day. Obviously, that's going to change if you're doing 10-hour shifts or 12-hour shifts. To what the actual productive time is important. So you can do your own study in your own shop, but this is what I figured: 6.5 hours based on real data in a real shop. So that takes us to the another number, which is $55.68 per hour. So then we have to figure out what is your overhead. So let's say your overhead is 500,000, okay? It could be any number, but then what we're going to do is take the amount of men you have in your shop, whether it's 5, 25, and that's going to dilute that cost based on the amount of men. So the higher the amount of men, as long as your overhead stays the same, makes your hourly rate lower. So that's kind of cool. You can mess around with that. But let's just say it's 5 men at that. So those men are covering your overhead. So then that takes us down. You can read all these, but just to keep it quick, that takes us to 119.25. And then you need a profit on top of that, and you got to cover your taxes. So let's say you wanted a desired profit margin, not markup, profit margin of 20%. And then your tax rate, whether you're, I don't know where you are. Let's say you're in the US and you got, 2% tax, or you're in Alberta and you got 7%, or I mean, it's federal, right? So we got to look at that. But ultimately, this gets us to the final number right here in the yellow line, and that is the hourly rate you should be charging. Yes, you can adjust this based on overhead if they're in the field, if they're not, and their hourly rate that you're paying them. But some of these numbers are going to be consistently what they are. So that's it. Anyway, opt in, and you can get this for free, and you can put your own numbers in and actually know what you should be charging per hour. God bless.